1924. Calvin Coolidge is President of the United States because he was at a World Series game that featured Washington. But we'll get to that. During the season, April 15th on opening day, two future Hall of Famers, Al Simmons of the Athletics and Freddie Lindstrom of the Giants, made their debuts. May 1st, Bill Barrett of the Chicago White Sox steals home in the first inning and the ninth inning. Chicago beat Cleveland 13-7. June 26, brothers Jesse and Virgil Barnes become the first pitching brothers to face each other on the mound. Jesse got the loss for Boston, and Virgil got the no decision in the New York Giants' 8-1 win over Boston. They would end up facing each other 4 more times. August 28th, the Washington Senators and New York Yankees begin a crucial 4-game series in which Washington wins 3 of them. They end up going 1.5 games up on the Yankees. September 6th, Boston Braves end Brooklyn's 15-game winning streak. September 20th, Grover Cleveland Alexander wins game number 300. Some of the notes there. Standings at the end of the season. Washington ends up beating out the Yankees by 2 games. Washington finishes with 92 wins and 62 losses. One of the few bright seasons they had in their existence. Yankees, as I said, finished second with an 89 and 63 record, 2 games back. Detroit Tigers, 86 and 68, 6 back. St. Louis Browns, 74 and 78, 17 back. Philadelphia Athletics, 71 and 81, 20 back. Cleveland goes 67 and 86, 24.5 back. Boston 67 and 87, 25 back. And the White Sox go 66 and 87, 25.5 back. National League. New York Giants finish first, 93 and 60. Brooklyn Robins, 92 and 62, 1.5 games back. Pittsburgh finishes third, goes 90 and 63, 3 back. Cincinnati goes 83 and 70, 10 back. Chicago Cubs go 81 and 72, 12 back. St. Louis goes 65 and 89, 28.5 back. The Phillies go 55 and 96, 37 back. And the poor old Boston Braves at 53 wins and 100 losses, 40 back. Season stats. Babe Ruth leads the American League with a .378 average and leads the majors with 46 home runs. Goose Goslin of Washington led the American League with 129 RBIs. And for pitching, it was the Walter Johnson show. The Washington pitcher had led the American League with 23 wins, 158 strikeouts, and a 2.72 ERA to win the American League pitching Triple Crown. Now we go to the National League. Rogers Hornsby of St. Louis led the majors with a .424 hitting average. Jack Fournier of Brooklyn, 27 home runs to lead the National League. And George Kelly of the Giants with 136 RBIs led the majors there. And as far as pitching, it was the Dazzy Vance show, as Dazzy Vance of the Brooklyn Robins wins the National League pitching Triple Crown. Led the National League and the majors with 28 wins, 262 strikeouts, and a 2.16 ERA. Now we go to the World Series. New York Giants are facing the Washington Senators. For the Giants, they're the first team to go to 4 straight World Series. 1 in 1921 over the Yankees, and 1 in 1922 over the Yankees. Lost in 1923 to the Yankees. Let's see how they do against the Washington Senators. Washington's home games are at Griffith Stadium. New York Giants' home games are at the Polo Grounds. And this is the first series to use the 2-3-2 system, which means the first 2 games in this case is in Washington. Next 3 games are in New York, and the last 2 games are in Washington. So let's get this started. Game 1, October 4th. Game 1 is in Washington, and the Giants win 4-3 in 12 innings. Game 2, October 5th, also in Washington, and the Washington Senators even the series at 1 with a 4-3 win. We now go to New York for the next 3 games. Game 3, October 6th, Giants beat Washington 6-4. We go up 2 games to 1. Game 4 on October 7th, Washington evens the series at 2 with a 7-4 win. Game 5, October 8th, New York Giants win 6-2 to go up 3 games to 2 in the series and a chance to win it in Washington. Do they do it? Game 6 on October 9th, Washington evens the series at 3 with a 2-1 win. Now we go to Game 7. Go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Giants are up 3-1. Bucky Harris hits a ground ball to the third baseman, Fred Lindstrom. It appears to be a routine grounder, except the ball hits a pebble. Bounces over Fred Lindstrom and into left field. No, Lindstrom couldn't get his hands on it. Bucky Harris is now on. That ended up scoring 2 runs to tie the game at 3. And Walter Johnson ends up coming on in relief. Pitches the 9th, the 10th, the 11th, the 12th. Does not give up a run. Going to the bottom of the 12th. Giants catcher Hank Gowdy trying to get to the pop up behind the plate. Steps on his catcher's mask and falls over, dropping the ball. Muddy Ruel, who is at the plate, gets a second chance, smashes a double. Walter Johnson comes up. He gets on via an error. So now you got runners on first and second. Earl McNeely comes to the plate and hits basically a similar ground ball to Lindstrom that Bucky Harris had. Ball bounces over his head, Lindstrom's head. Lindstrom can't get to the ball. Muddy Ruel, who apparently was probably one of the slower runners on the Washington team, lumbers home to win the Game 7 4-3 for Washington, and wins the World Series for the Washington Senators 4-3. And this was the longest Game 7 in terms of innings, with 12. So yeah, Walter Johnson's first trip to the World Series, and he ends up winning after being in the league for 17 years at that time. First and only World Series he wins. This is his only World Series win. So there you go. The 1924 season in a nutshell. Tomorrow, 1925, and I think the Washington Senators make a return against the Pittsburgh Pirates. We'll get that tomorrow. Until then, stay tuned.